seniors. You're near the end of the part of your career, and I have what I call the low 35-cent talk that I give to seniors. And basically it's to try and give you a little idea what you might run into when you're out there. First of all, by now, you no doubt have figured out that a high school diploma only in the United States today isn't worth the powder to blow it out of the room. You've got to have something else. Now here's the first shocker. College is not for everybody. But, and it's a big but, you need something in addition. You cannot count on a high school diploma only to quote, give you quote, success in life. Now it is extremely important that you do have something else. I know teenagers in Kingwood have a reputation for not getting their hands dirty. But believe you me, you can make a very good living even though you do not have a college degree. As you've probably heard, there are hundreds of jobs out there, but people aren't trained to get them. And so you've got to do something else, and it doesn't make any difference whether you're a young lady or a young gentleman. You've got to have something else. And because if you think about it, you ask the last time your dad played a plumbing bill and see what kind of reaction he gets. So there are good jobs out there. You don't have to have a college education. I know the people around here don't like to hear me say that, but basically it's true. Now, how many of you plan to go on to college? Great. Now, when you go to college, as I say, I have no idea the relationship you have with your parents. And some of you are going to feel, man, I can hardly wait to get out of this place. You know, and tell your parent, get off my back, I can handle everything. First of all, you can't. So don't delude yourself that you can. Next, I'd like to mention that there probably isn't an institution of higher learning in the United States that can handle the size of a freshman class all the way through from physical plant. And professors count on people flunking out. Professors don't flunk out students. Students flunk out themselves. And say when you get all this freedom of getting away from home, you can party all night. No one gives a hoot what time you get in. But the problem is that so many people take advantage of this freedom of time to do a lot of partying and so forth, that by the time they catch on what's going on, it's too late. And they're out of there. Now, some professor, my guess is, it happened when I went to school, it happened when, it's been going on for 100 years. Some professor is going to tell you, look on either side of you, because next year, one of you is not going to be there. And it's true. And I don't want it to be any of you. I like you students so much and have such respect for you that I don't want to see you diddle away your life just based on having all this freedom. So find when you get to college that you're not going to get babied like you do around here. You don't think you're getting babied, but you really do. There's none of this stuff when you get to college where, you know, the report comes in, you 2 days late, so you get a 70, or if it's 3 days late, you get a 50. In my opinion, it was so bad, and it was so bad on one occasion in this district, that if you even wrote your name on a piece of paper, you got 50% of the test just for effort, which is ridiculous in my opinion. Of course, we don't do that anymore. So when a professor tells you, you get this report in on Thursday, you better get it in on Thursday. The universities are not afraid to use zeros, and you'll get a 0 if that's what you deserve. The next thing I'd like to ask is, how many of you are going to have wheels? That means how many of you are going to go to college with a car? Okay, well, not that you wouldn't be anyway, but you could find out that you're one of the most popular people on the floor. And one of the reasons is because you have a car, and you can go out and party every night. If you want to, you'll find somebody who would want to go with you. And what usually happens is that by the time it goes by, you start, that's funny, this is Thursday, and I haven't seen Johnny since Monday. Well, that's because Johnny's studying, and the rest of the people are filling in for you, because you've got a car and you can go. So you can be very, very careful about this. Now, talking about cars, I don't care whether or not you've gone with Johnny or Betty from kindergarten all the way through grade 12 and Kingwood High. And they're your best buddies and have been for years. Don't ever, 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 ever loan your car to anybody, because you could end up by paying for it for the rest of your life. Even if they say, well, I want to go to the Peanuts parlor, it's only 2 blocks down. Well, for one thing, if it's 2 blocks, I can walk. But anyway, do not ever loan anybody your car. Now, I'm not going to tell you to drink, not to drink. Yes, I'm telling you not to drink, but I know that you're going to try it anyway. So, for one thing, what you do, for Pete's sake, stay away from binge drinking. How anybody who feels like they're going to die, their head's hung in the toilet, and they're just heaving up all over and so forth, think this could be fun? Come on. So be careful when you do it. For example, to tell you, now about 2 years ago, Ivy League students were passing around the names of girls and how many drinks it took before they could take advantage of them. Be careful with this drinking. Excuse me. There are a lot of rotters out there, and they'll take advantage of girls anytime they can. The problem, one of the big problems is, this could lead to catastrophe. It could change your life. Some people think it could ruin your life, but it will definitely affect your life, so just be very, very careful. Now, when you're in a bar or a nightclub, as I know you will be during your school years, never, never leave an unattended drink. So, and even if 2 girls are going to go to the powder room, excuse me, which is fine, do not leave an unattended drink. As I say, there are a lot of rotters out there, and you've got to be careful with them. Now, the next subject, which is a tough one, and I feel very strongly about this, and that's drugs. If you get involved with drugs, you're just plain stupid. When I was in high school, the big temptations were tobacco and alcohol. We didn't have the problems that you folks face now. Excuse me. tobacco wasn't too bad because most people smoked. But if your parents told you, don't you dare drink, the first thing you think of is, well, if they don't make a drink, there's something weird, there must be wonderful about it, I better try and find out why. That's okay then. Nowadays there are drugs out there that are so powerful that even if you try one for experimentation, you're hooked for life. And to see your life go down the toilet, as far as I'm concerned, is it really breaks my heart to see that happen. And it will happen. And it does happen. So anyway, enough on that subject. Going back to about getting into schools. First of all, an example, I think 2 years ago, Baylor had 19,000 applications, of which they accepted 3,700. There is a lot of competition out there for that seat that you're sitting in. Now, you may be one of the top 10 in Kingwood High, which I think is commendable, but there are a lot of top 10 students in this country. There are a lot of brains in this country. Kingwood does not control all the brains in the country. Now, we do have a reputation. The latest number is that 97% of our graduates went on for some sort of advanced education, which is very, very commendable. However, I've wondered for years, I realize it's going to take money and it's going to take time. But how many of that large group that go on for an education come away 4 or 5 years later with a sheepskin? Say maybe they don't want us to know, but it is going to take time and money to find out the effect. So anyway, keep in your mind that there is a lot of competition out there, even more so and equally as much competition as in Kingwood High. So remember that. I went to school with a guy that was so smart he didn't have to do any homework, and he came out tops in our class. And don't try and emulate anybody else. Do your own thing. As I say, you are going to run up against very, very smart people. And that's not saying that you aren't very, very smart. Okay, now, the last thing I want to say is, not the last, but anyway, one of the things that hardly anybody in the United States nowadays can say they put themselves through school all on their own. Someone is sacrificing for you. It may be a little sacrifice or it may be a big sacrifice, but somebody is really sacrificing for you, and they can always use the money elsewhere. So if you've got any conscience whatsoever, think about the people that are behind you that have done some sacrificing, and don't disappoint them. If you don't make it, you're not the only one who's disappointed. It's going to be the people who are supporting who have been disappointed. So remember that. And hopefully you've got a conscience. Keep that in the back of your mind, that someone, it may be a big sacrifice or a little sacrifice, but someone is sacrificing. Even for those who are going on full scholarship, somebody is sacrificing, and that's how that scholarship got there. Okay, now, the last thing I want to say is that our daughter owns her own business. And with one of her clients some time ago, the younger employees were, I guess the word might be difficult, having difficulty at the office. And so they asked her for some words of advice, and she put them down. And I have this little list here, and hopefully you'll take a copy it won't mean much to you now, but put it in your drawer, and 4 years later, take it out and read it and follow. The reason I'm passing it out is I obviously think they're good ideas as well. And anyway, that's, as I say, hopefully you will take one of these, but as I say, don't throw it away or laugh it off now. 4 years from now or something, pick it, get it out of your dresser drawer and read it and see if you don't agree with some of the comments. And finally, the secret to this whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, is when you get into college or whatever you do, stay there. Take whatever it takes, except cheating, to stay there and make yourselves proud, make your parents proud, and as I said before, this college is not for everybody, and the same thing applies if you're a trade school or whatever. So anyway, thanks very much for listening, and God bless.